Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the most electrifying esports entertainment show of all time, the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice, as we get into another qualifying match. It's actually not a qualifying match, it's just a round. And it's going to be Cham going up against Stats, still here with Rotterdam. We're going to be going late into the night to bring you all of these games.
I'm pumped for this one, and before you guys jump at us on Twitter and say, why are you not showing TY versus Gumio? What's wrong with you guys? I mean, we just did a TY game, and this is also a North American server qualifier.
Yeah.
Cham just had a massive result for himself after he took out Zest 2-0. He tweeted out, he's like, the power of ping, boys. But I actually think he's underselling himself there a little bit, because from Korea on the American server, it's obviously far from perfect, but that's very doable. A lot of Koreans often show up and they dominate on the North American server. So that's just a great victory, and I'm very curious to see what he can do against that other beast of a Protoss that is Stats.
That's right, so let's see how he's going to be able to fare, as we do have, up to the top left-hand corner in the blue, it is Cham, the Slayer of Zest. Will he fare as well against another opponent?
Yeah, and don't forget that the Koreans had to qualify to make it into this phase of the bracket as well.
Yep.
So obviously if they were, you know, during the qualifiers, they were able to defeat the odds of the ping. Over here in the right bottom side, representing Spliced, it is Stats.
And let us not forget as well, Stats, second place last time at the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice, narrowly being pipped at the post by TY in that grand final. A spectacle to watch from the Spodek Arena itself.
Yeah. That 7th game though, Cactus Valley it was, right?
Was it Cactus Valley?
Yeah, right bottom against right top. The moment I saw that push, I was like, oh my god. I don't think Stats can hold with the build he went for. And
yeah.
If you take one bad fight, it is all ogre at that point. It was a great final day, a couple of amazing back and forth games. So,
yeah.
you know, you really need to have some luck when you run esports events as well, especially the final. If you have such a big stage, you're in the Spodek, you're like, you know, I'm just sitting there as a StarCraft fan. I'm like, please guys, give us an amazing final. Also because the tournament was so good last year that people often only remember the last thing. You're like, oh my god, like, come on. We had such an amazing week, but if this is going to be a one-sided, you know, 4-0 in boring games, then people are going to think like, you know, yeah, it was alright, but it wasn't that memorable, but it was such a fun event last year.
It really was. Every day, every single day, from group stages all the way through to our brackets and then going to the Spodek Arena.
You know what I just noticed the other day for the first time after playing this game for 7 years? I have literally never seen this. Can you go back to the main base of Stats? Well, we're looking at the main base of Cham right now. But the moment you go to the main base of Stats, look at the assimilator, look at the gas. There is little gas cubes.
You didn't notice
No, I didn't. I'd never seen those little gas cubes through. I just don't look at those kind of details. I just saw it like 2 days ago for the first time. Played this game non-stop for 7 years. I was like, so that's why they're carrying a little box.
Oh my god. The Terran one, it's got like little arms that are moving around little gas canisters. If you've not ever noticed that as well.
I've never noticed that either.
There you go. Oh, wow.
All right, so we've got Stats being annoying here, trying to delay these hatcheries a little bit for Cham. As there is a Stargate being warped in at home. Now, I really wonder what Cham is going to do. Obviously, we were not able to watch the games that Cham played against Zest.
Yeah.
Abyssal Reef is not really a roach map, and some people would probably say, like, there is no roach map in ZVP. You know, roach is not that good. But Cham is an odd guy. Cham is an odd player, and, you know, he's not as crazy as someone like Bly. I would say he's a little bit more macro-oriented. But Cham is also not somebody who sits back and goes up to like 68 or 70 drones. You know, he hits those in-between timings.
Yeah. So let's see how that's going to be approached. Stats at the moment has his Stargate on the way, completely finished, but there is an Overlord even right next to it, so he knows exactly what's going on, this Cham. Is he going to shade?
There's a lot of Zerglings, though. I like how Cham is hiding them as well. Good job by Cham. He surrounds the first Adept immediately. That was a very risky shade, and 2 Adepts for 2 drones is simply not worth it. Because now it's going to be a little bit harder as well to go up to 3 bases and keep that Nexus alive.
Yeah.
I love the way that Cham was hiding it. Obviously, the Adepts lost quite a bit of their vision.
Yeah.
So if you keep the Zerglings out of range, then sometimes Protoss is like, oh, the coast is safe. And then you show you're like, Zerglings.
Just out of range. Very nicely done. These Lings are going to go for the counter-attack, knowing that they're free to do so. They're not going to do anything against an Oracle, so why would they be on the other side?
They could actually kill this Adept. Okay, the second Adept is going to be the backup Adept, and that's going to be good. And he can let the Shade finish as well. So good timing there on that extra Adept. Otherwise, this would have been very problematic for Stats.
Yeah, not only just being able to secondary block, but also double the DPS. Catch some of these.
Well, that's a very decent stasis. Can we take a look how many drones were trapped there? Yeah, that's a very good
Nice.
stasis. That's 4 or 5 drones, I believe, and the Queen, of course.
Yeah, not too bad at all. So that's going to stop a little bit of injecting as well for now, as well as those that mining time. Ro8 still going down on the other side. Extra Oracle being added, so the two going to be rendezvousing up the top.
Very safe play here by Stats. Maybe Stats asked Zest, like, hey, what happened? You know, what did he do? And perhaps Zest is like, oh, he made an insane amount of units for no reason.
Yeah.
Zest is like, all right, I'm not going to die to that. But once again, if you lose your first 2 Adepts, it is harder to just rush up to 3 bases very quickly.
Cham still on the Ro8 Warren go-to here to start things off as well. I mean, he's still that many Adepts still in production. You've got to be a little bit careful if that's going to be the occurrence.
Well, these Oracles being actually quite effective, getting 5 drones together. Of course, with 2 Oracles, it's a lot easier to kill workers than with 1, as we see the Robotics Bay being wiped in, and that Forge. But now we see the first Roaches on the way. I kind of wonder if Cham is making those Roaches because he's worried about, you know, 12 Adepts shading to the other side of the map, or if he's making those Roaches. No, Sport Crawl is in a very odd place. I don't really like that placement there. I feel Cham is losing too many drones against these Oracles.
Yeah, not shutting too much down there on the edge, especially if you're going to have this many Queens, and the base is also not connected up with creep, like the main and the natural, so you can't reinforce that easily with extra Queens to stave this off. But for now...
Damn, the layer is so late, eh? That is...
Yeah.
Well, how often do you see that in this day and age of ZVP?
Quite late, quite late.
5.5 minute layer?
I mean, when if you're gonna have the Ro8 Warren and those Roaches coming out, right, your gas is going into that to begin things, and then it technically is slowing it down. Whereas most Zergs nowadays do have that little bit of a skip.
But sometimes you still see like a 3-minute and 40-second layer, and then you see the Ro8 Warren after that. This is what I also kind of mean, but the fun, ooh, that Phoenix does get sniped, so that's nice for Cham. Kept his Overlord alive too. The funny thing is though, it's like, was there really a reason for him to have such a late layer? The only thing he says is that he was very paranoid about 7 or 8 Adapt shading to the other side of the map.
Yeah.
And maybe he felt like he needed them quickly, but Stats is actually playing a very passive game. So the road, ooh, tunneling claws immediately.
Yeah, that's a bit out of left field. So let's see if that's going to be able to do anything. Hydralisk then goes down as well. Pneumatized Carapace on the way now. The one thing that I was going to be saying is like, well, you know, with the layer being so late, I'm like, well, he doesn't even have Pneumatized Carapace, so that wasn't even a gas sink for him at the beginning.
I don't really get it, and it's also not the sickest economy ever, you know, it's not a... that he made Queens and drones and nothing but drones. Like, oh, he made a couple of Zerglings, he got Zergling speed. Then they started making very early safety Roaches. Obviously, at this point, you know, Cham is up to 71 drones. And now it's obviously time to make some units, and it's time to make a serious amount of units. I like that wall by Stat. Obviously, he's going to need a cannon and a shield battery behind it eventually, but that's going to keep him safe. That is a full wall of right on the left side. So
I think so, yeah.
These Roaches are going to have a tough time at first. How many observers do we have out on the map? I think I saw one. Is that correct?
There was one out in the middle with the Oracles killing off creep tumors, and then beyond that, I'm not sure. But Stalker's being warped in now as well to complement the Colossi at the front.
It's kind of funny how he went tunneling claws before Roach speed as well.
Yeah, it is. You make a good point. Actually, did he cancel it?
No, tunneling claws finish. No, wait, he just...
Because the thing is that they didn't have the little spikes on them, so I was like...
Did he just misclick or something? Because he was researching it for a very long time.
Yeah, he must have misclicked it. Because he's cancelled it now. They don't have the spikes on the back, so that's what pegged it.
It was almost done, by the way.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Jeez, I mean, at that point, just let it finish.
I mean, I guess he didn't have burrows, so maybe...
Yeah.
This feels odd. Kind of an odd game by Cham. But he's still in it, guys. He has 73 drones.
Ooh.
He's going to get 5 Drop-A-Lords now. So maybe he's going to drop a bunch of Hydras in the back of the natural?
Maybe. Maybe try and just circumvent some of the defense at the front. I mean, things like, you know, Stalker Colossi isn't super mobile to be able to get somewhere if you get caught by surprise.
The good thing about Abyssal Reef, though, for the Protoss here is that it's quite compact. And I feel that if you have your Colossus standing between the natural and your turret base, they kind of protect everything. They can fight at the fort, they can fight in the back of the natural. Only the back of your main is very far away.
Yeah, so the idea will be then, if that's the case, Cham poses a threat at the front of this 4th base. And then from there, he's going to try and cause problems elsewhere.
That's just a single cannon, right? The stasis wards are all being dropped at the fort. Stats obviously is not aware that this is coming.
Yeah.
He's quite far out of position. He does have Storm, though. I don't think he has any High Templars with Storm available.
He has no information down there to the left-hand side. He had no scouting information.
Ooh, he does have Storm.
Ooh.
I mean, the drop is going to do damage. I think that if Cham gets like 20, 25 probes, and maybe the Nexus, this is a massive success. But I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get that much done. But this is a massive Doom drop, though. He gets 8-9 workers immediately, and he should click on the Nexus.
The perfect provoking at the natural. Oh my god!
Holy mom of stasis ward.
Yeah, that's a big one. He's going to get this Nexus, which is nice here for Cham, but then he's got to worry about the main force at the front taking a big chunk of damage.
I mean, these units are stuck, right? I think that Stats is going to wipe in a few more units, and he's going to jump right on top of that army. Stats should not let that army get away.
No.
Look at Cham's macro, though. 200 supply. He lands Storms. These roaches just ran into the next stasis ward immediately. And this drop is still going strong.
Yeah, Cham really bringing it here to Stats at the moment and trying to find another way. Potentially these units want to get out, but they're not going to be getting out. They're just finding the damage that they can. He actually got and evacuated out some of the units from the stasis ward, and a second one did trigger. Damn. But look at the production tab. Everything is coming up Cham right now.
Yeah, so Cham is doing great, but this is still not over because that army is eventually going to run out of steam. And with every round of warp-ins and every, I want to say, robotics facility unit that Stats produces, but he lost his robo, and that's kind of problematic. If Stats didn't lose the robo, I would have really actually not hate his position all that much, even though he did lose a base and he doesn't have much map presence. I think he still has a prism on the top side.
Cham's going to continue the pressure, man. He's going to go again.
Yeah, but you have to be careful because in the previous fight there were no Colossus. This is an army where you don't easily drop into. He does pick up one Immortal, but two Colossus in the back. I think if Cham can get another cancel on that Nexus, he should be happy and get the hell out of there.
Stats has valiantly separated his army up to be able to greet all of this, so not too bad at all.
Yeah, this time Stats did a much better job. I think the first time he looked at the drop and he's like, oh, that's a pretty serious drop.
Yeah.
Those roaches are going to fall as well. Let me just send a couple of Zealots and, you know, maybe a few Stalkers in the back, but you really needed some serious units. And the second time, Stats is like, all right, if you want to drop again, that's fine, but this time I'm waiting. 2 Colossus, 2 Immortals, and a couple Zealots, Roaches and Hydras in such a... I mean, that's a narrow spot, right? I'm going to have a very hard time getting any damage done.
Corpse is on the way now with the Greater Spy going down. So while Cham has been putting and exerting all of this pressure, he's actually transitioned quite nicely back at home. But carriers are coming out.
So is that.
Yeah.
Now, carriers on 4 bases, it is very scary, but Stats is obviously going to run out of minerals in the near future as well. So if Cham can prevent Stats from getting a 5th base, or maybe get a sniper... No, he's not going to get a sniper.
Yeah, he knows it's there.
Hey, those units can be stuck. He has to be very careful. Because there are carriers out on the map, so you want to be careful with your Overlords. He's going to drop more Overlords in the natural, I think? No, are those empty? Yeah.
Just posing a threat, I suppose.
Sorry, guys. Got really excited. Saw blue moving on the minimap. I'm like, oh my god.
It's gonna happen.
It worked. No, it didn't work.
Mothership on the way as well. Graviton Catapult going down. Killing off some of his own Zealots. He doesn't have anything to warp in.
Just kill the Fleet Beacon, indeed. I think if he gets the Fleet Beacon, that's the best he could have hoped for. These units were... No, kill the Fleet Beacon.
Oh my god.
Cham! Cham!
He doesn't get it.
He still has 1 Roach left, but... Oh, that would have been such a sweet snipe. It's a very expensive building. And Graviton Catapult wouldn't have been done.
Yeah. Anyone have been able to make more carriers? Queue him up.
That is a big mistake by Cham. If Cham ends up losing this game, there is a very good chance that that is the reason why.
Yeah. Could have focused it. He had the units available. All right, well, Cham, how are you going to scrape yourself out of this one? Still, he's not in too bad a spot with his unit composition, but 4 carriers being produced now. Yep,
and I mean, if he would have been able to get the Fleet Beacon, it also means no Tempest against the Broodlords. Of course, having carriers is nice, but carriers can run out of Interceptors, and Tempests are just a little bit better in dealing with those Broodlords. There is a lot of harassment going on the other side of the map, but can Stats keep his fort base alive?
Cham thinks his time is now with these Broodlords, and he's going to try and pursue this as much as possible. Getting onto the army at the back there. Doesn't really have much anti-air to deal with the carriers. Really wants the Hydralisks underneath that to bring them down.
Yeah, carriers are out of Interceptors though. Stats desperately needs those 4 additional carriers that he had on the way. There's a drop again in the main. Cham!
Oh my god.
What did you eat this morning?
Just some lings, but they're causing havoc at the moment.
In the natural too, I think, maybe? Or is that empty drop lord? I mean, Stats is doing a lot of damage on the other side of the map, and that drop lord is just dropping creep. Where are the... I mean, he doesn't have enough Interceptors, right? He's getting 4 at a time, but the Colossus are going to fall, and Cham can just kill this base, go home and make 1 million corruptors.
Yeah, he was trying to buy time as long as possible to get more interceptors out there, tries to lay in some feedbacks on these overseers as well, and then from that, I actually don't think without those overseers, he can't see this army anymore. He needs to kill the mothership, and he's trying to focus it down here with the Hydralists, but it's not going to die. There's too much DPS in that Protoss army.
Those Hydras did very good as well. I mean, the amount of probes that went down, 48 in total, and in the end, Cham lost quite a few drones as well. I think 20-ish or so at home. But I mean, he did a lot of economic damage, and those Lings are still running circles.
So these carriers are going to chase this all the way back now.
Ooh.
31 interceptors.
I think Cham should go back and really stabilize.
Yeah.
He's losing a lot of very expensive units now.
I guess he just can't help lose the Broodlords. It's impossible to try and save those in that situation. They're too slow. But beyond that, that's a strong army now for Protoss. If he keeps chasing...
Yeah. I mean, and Cham obviously took economic damage too. He's got 43 drones. It's not that many. He's making 28 Lings, not really the unit you want to have. Is he going to try to counterattack? Is he going to try to win? I mean, he's just running Lings into this army. I actually think that Stats might have done it.
Yeah, he may have, unless the Corruptors are able to group up some way. Gets himself the Mothership as the Corruptors coming in, as well as that Spore Crawler. That means everything's now revealed. He got himself one of the carriers, but
oh my God,
he doesn't have any Corruptors left.
Oh my God, Stats is actually going to turn this game around and just win here. That is ridiculous. And that fleet beacon, James, I said if Cham loses that game, there's a good chance it really was because of that.
Yeah.
And I think looking back at it, there is no way he wouldn't have won, because then he can queue up those 4 extra carriers. It would have just been 2 carriers without Graviton Catapult. Very expensive building as well to replace the fleet beacons, like 300 gas.
Yep.
Cham.
So close. Kept us on the edge of the seat. I think both players really kept us on the edge of the seat.
Yeah,
in
of course.
Game.
I mean, you know, it goes 2 ways. Magnificent hold by Stats there in the end. Really good as well to have that Eye of the Tiger and just chase that army down.
Yeah.
He was harassing while being under a tremendous amount of pressure. Drops, you know, Ling run-bys, massive brutal army pushing, and at the same time he's like, I need to do something, otherwise I'm going to lose this game. Killing those 25 or so drones he did with the Zealous and the Adepts obviously slowed the economy of Cham down a lot, which, you know, prevented a big Corruptor remax or whatever. But I mean, that fleet beacon.
That fleet beacon. Cham just kind of got to tighten those bolts and you're good to go there. But what a game, even though Stats wins, what a game from Cham's side to take it that close.
And I'm not crazy, right? The early game of Cham, it just feels weird, right? Like
it did feel weird.
It's not as streamlined as some of the other Zergs. You know, you always feel that like someone like Elise has a very set out plan, or even the other European Zergs, you know, guys like Lambo and Nurture, they just like, it all makes sense. It's like dot, 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 dot. And Cham, it's always like, bop, 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 it's all over the place.
Doing what he wants.
But then suddenly he has a really good economy, and he's got a lot of units, and he's making magic happen. Should have won that game.
The drop style, though, is something that's just gained more prevalence as of late, and it's very powerful from these Zergs. You constantly, we started yesterday as well, morphing in 5 Dropper-Lords, trying to go in and do some damage, and it's really powerful. I
mean, Protoss for the last 6-7 years have had the idea that as long as they're behind a wall against Zerg and you build walls everywhere, not just in your natural, but at the 3rd base, maybe at the 4th base, you create a choke point, you're all good because you've got lasers, and now suddenly Zergs start dropping too. It's good stuff, though. I mean, that's what we want to see, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And now our next map is going to be Ascension to Aya between these 2 players. And after seeing that first game and the way you see Cham kind of executing here against the Protoss, not surprised about that 2-0 against us, to be honest with you.
And once again, you know, he started off like researching burrows. So road speed was a little bit later. I'm not sure if that really held him back a lot, but you know, that was very close, and Cham made a couple of very obvious errors. So imagine if he erases those errors from his gameplay. Yep. Perhaps we can see 3 games here.
Yeah, perhaps. Let's get into it then. Game number 2 here. Currently, Stats leads 1-0 against Cham, as we have, obviously, this North American server qualifier continuing. Up to the top left, in the red, we do have, representing Splice, it will be Stats.
And on the right bottom side of Ascension to Ire, we're looking in the main base of our Zerg, hailing from Mexico. It is Cham. I want to say Mexico, and then I was like, no, let's go Mexico. And then in the end, I went for a mix. Didn't work out, James.
A mix.
Don't try to be creative at 2:30 in the morning.
No, is it 2:30? Jeez.
Isn't it? No, 2:20.
2:20. You're close. You're close. Yeah, we're going to be here for a lot more hours, I think, bringing a lot of these games. We will always cover the qualifying matches, absolutely. So,
but we're getting midnight pizza too, James. It's all worth it.
Yeah, midnight pepperoni pizza.
I mean, if you would have told little Kevin, you know, like 17 years ago, that once, you know, a time far, far into the future, I will be talking about video games in the middle of the night, and they will be bringing me pizza. I would not have believed you.
Right.
I'd
Yeah.
be like, no, life cannot possibly be that good, James.
No, there's no way. What is this utopia you speak of? It was, and we don't even have to ring for the pizza. That's the greatest thing.
Get treated like kings.
That's right.
What a time to be alive.
What a time. What a time.
All right, so we got Gate Nexus over here for stats. Very standard opening for him. Once again, he is scouting. Gonna keep a close eye on the build order of Cham, just because I want to see, you know, when he starts mining gas, what he does with his gas, why was his layer so late, is it just the extra queens? I mean, he did have a few queens early on, so that allows it to have proper creep spread. I actually think when it comes to spreading creep, Cham has I said crap. Creep crap. When it comes to spreading creep, Cham has made some very serious improvements in my opinion. If I compare his games these days to what I remember from 2016, when he was already starting to make appearances at international events, back then Cham was a crazy Zerg as well that would often just march across the map with like 12 queens and a bunch of roaches on tier 1.
Yeah.
He had some weird games back in the days. But the only creep spread that he truly had was like a creep highway, you know, it's just like one direct path. These days, these days he's just a lot better overall mechanically, and he really spreads it in every direction. Not quite yet at the level of some of the best in the business, but he has made very serious improvement.
Yeah, it's not just the benefit of you having faster units, it's having the vision, it's being able to slow down your opponent who then has to clean it up when they want to go across. It's really, really powerful stuff, his creep, if you can master the power of the creep.
Yeah, Ascension is a very large map, so it's hard to cover this entire map.
Yeah.
I've played against a couple of weird builds myself lately, which it kind of felt like this is something that Cham could do, you know, like a weird 2-base lurker queen push. And at the 9-minute mark, the entirety of Catalyst was covered in creep. And I'm like, ah! I mean, I don't make quick robo often, so I had no observers. And, you know, against, you know, lower ranked players, you often can get away with that for a while. Of course, you know, everybody spreads creep at a certain level. But then you start playing against better guys, and it's like 9 minutes into the game, and it's like, oh my god, it's in my natural, it's in my third base. It's like, this is just scary.
I had a few friends recently who wanted to, you know, start playing StarCraft since it's gone free to play. They were like, yeah, let's play. So I was like, are you sure you want to play 1v1? Don't you want to play team games? Like, no, they were like, yeah, go. We want to play 1v1. So I picked Zerg. I start just playing the creep game. They move out of their base. The whole map spread with creep. It's not quite your competitive games, but
it's like when you play Zerg, you have a little mini game.
Yeah, exactly. It's fun.
Cover the map in creep. So interesting opening here by Stats. It's an Oracle into a Phoenix, which he did in the previous game as well. But now I wonder if we're going to see that second Oracle again. I really felt that second Oracle was absolutely worth it. It fell out of fashion a little bit, but with the amount of success that Stats had with it in game 1, maybe he feels like Cham is not the best lurk in the world when it comes to dealing with Oracles.
Yeah.
And maybe it's worth the investment.
There was definitely holes he could have exploited and potentially exploit here again. I mean, the spot call is going down, yes, trying to save some of those drones, but a lot of drones were just produced by Cham. And he's got another drone. Or he did get another drone, I should say.
Still actually has a lot of energy, but I guess Stats just didn't want to take any more damage. You don't really know where the queens are. We have full vision, Stats doesn't, so you can't really rely on your Oracle making it out with 20 HP, because that's when the queen shows up. And if you lose your Oracle early on, that is a faster Prism, though. Maybe it's just a Prism for the 2 Adapt drops, something that Showtime doesn't do a lot.
Well, how many gateways are we getting? Is it just the extra 2, or is it more?
I think we'll see a quick Templar Archives behind it, but I think at first he's just going to put 2 Adepts into his Prism, drop him in the main, and try to be annoying.
Yeah, you've got a good eye, Kevin, because right now he's just sending that probe down to the third base to get that going.
Good denial there on the stasis.
Too bad.
Risky, because if it finishes, everything gets trapped for like 20-30 seconds. But, you know, that was a good job there by Cham. Previous game, he lost quite a bit of mining because of those wards. This time he just shut it down.
4 Adepts going to be able to shoo away those Zerglings down towards the third once they get caught. Or even the Oracle could do it if it needs to, but it doesn't. The Zerglings moved forwards and then run back. There's your 2 Adepts. Have a looking about.
I feel like that shade is too early. I would have liked to see him shade a little bit closer to the creep, then he gets more behind the mineral line. But he still gets close to the drones. You know, gets 3 kills. He should be able to get 5, I think, in total. Good job there by running their Herd Adept in the best. He might get 6, cancel, yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Damn, Stats getting some very serious value out of his 2 Adepts here. I thought he shaded a little bit too far away, but
Yeah.
Was worth it in the end.
It's a good start for him. There's Tunneling Claws again.
Did he recently like change his hotkeys? Because he doesn't have Ro8 speed, right?
I don't think he does. Nope. What is going on?
I have no idea. I mean, these Archons are actually doing some serious work. Both Queens are going to fall, and there's still this Prism as well. I like that Observer showing up. That's going to push some of that creep spread back. This first Ro8 is going to get picked off. Cham, he must have changed his hotkeys or something.
Must have.
Because that is not a mistake that normally anybody makes 2 games in a row.
These 2 Archons being a pesky as well. And it just... Oh.
Does he have 2 Ro8 warrants?
No, wait. That's Hydralisks.
Oh, yeah.
I almost made the same mistake as well when I was looking at that for a second.
I mean, the 2 Ro8 warrant build is something that I definitely think that Cham is capable of.
Yeah.
But not right now. I mean, he's probably going to cancel it again if he spots it, because he doesn't have Burrow. I mean, Tunneling Claws is awesome and all, but kind of need Burrow for it.
Yeah. I would love to ask afterwards. I mean, we don't really get opportunity because we don't have the PCs available to us, but it would be very interesting to know.
I think that he changed his hotkeys recently.
Must have been, but anyway, this Warp Prism down towards the bottom. He cancelled it again at the very last second.
This feels like a meme.
Yeah. I'm so confused.
This is 2 games in a row that he cancels Ro8 or Tunneling Claws. Like, is he trying? Nah, it must be a mistake. I don't know. I don't even want to analyze this anymore.
I was going to say, unless there's some mega weird fake out. It's like,
yeah,
oh,
but
the Ro8 Warren's making something.
Yeah, but ooh, Archon, Warp Prism taking a lot of damage, but Hydras are a tiny bit too slow. Damn, that one Archon was so low on HP. One hit away from dying.
They're very lucky that Evolved Muscular Augments was not finished, I think. Did they get faster on creep? I think they do a little bit, right?
Yeah, they're fast everywhere.
They're
fast in my dreams.
Chasing you. That's what Roddy dreams are made of. Being chased by Hydralisks.
My alarm clock sound is like...
like, no!
Hydra shooting at me. Sometimes I'm a little slow in the morning. People always ask, Roddy, why do you stream so much? It's like, well, I wake up to the sound of Hydras. That's when you run into the shower real quick, and then you're truly awake. You're like, all right, then we may as well play some video games.
That's a scary nightmare situation.
It would be nice for Cham to get that Prism, though. Come on, stats. I just want to call that his Archon is dying. Okay, at least his Hydra is getting a decent engagement there on that forward base. Is he going to be able to get the cancel? I don't think he can, actually. Not enough DPS there. Lots of Storm available as well for stats. I don't know, Cham. This seems really hard off creep.
Cham trying to come in from 3 angles while this is going on, but Storms will push him back. The Archons and Zealots up at the top should be fine. These High Templars very vulnerable, though. Where are they going?
Well, okay, he got 2 of them, and the other ones did morph into an Archon. That one Immortals, kill that other Archon. Come on, that other Archon is meant to die, James.
No, he's going to stay alive.
No, it's going to fall.
Okay, now he's going to die.
Come on!
Eventually.
It's on the left, it has no HP. None of them have any HP.
Oh my god,
why does his Archon not die? Okay, now it's going to die. Oh, come on! Stats!
How many kills does that go? 8 kills, not too bad.
Yeah, but he's also been 17 times away, one hit away from dying.
Of all the Archons to not die in that fight, so many healthy ones died, but not that one.
Unbelievable. I mean, good hold there by Stats. Maybe got a little over eager with his High Templars, right? They were a tiny bit too expensive. Yeah. 1 HP, by the way. 1 real HP.
1 real HP. That's crazy. What a madman.
That Archon should leave Ascension to IR and come back as an Immortal.
That's right.
Because it truly deserves the name.
Yeah, he can stay around forever. We'll see if these Zealots can do stuff. Up towards the top, charging on forwards, getting them Psy Hydralisks. Not too bad transfused, but still around. Still going to be annoying. Could get some drones if they focus.
Good micro there by Cham. The problem is, though, that, I mean, Lurkers are very good. Of course, with Lurkers, that's what I do actually like a lot about the way that the game has changed. In the past, it just really felt that, like, Ro8 Hydra, that's cute, but it has to kill the Protoss right here, right now. And if it doesn't do that the first time, that's a good warp in by Stat. I think, I like the positioning there by Cham as well. Both players making a lot of cute moves in this game.
Yeah, very nice. There's going to be the Fleet Beacon as well as the Stargate going down in the back here. So Stats is just getting into that groove where he's going to be very comfortable. All the Lurkers coming out, though. He might hit a timing if those Lurkers come out. Just
to finish up my thought, like in the past, this army just ran out of steam so quickly, and then, you know, it would be close, 1 fight, 2 fight, then the game is over. With Lurkers, there is a little bit more hope. Now, of course, eventually, Zerg is going to need Hive Tech as well, especially once you're facing carriers, because carriers are still very scary. It's straight up Tempest this game, by the way. Now, Tempests are good against Lurkers as well. Did Stats scout the Lurker then by any chance, or Is he just expecting Broodlords again? Where is the Lurker then anyway? It's in the main, I guess?
I think it's in the main, yeah.
So I don't think he scouted it yet. But I mean, Lurker, Tempest against Lurker is obviously not bad. You're going to be able to get some consistent damage done. The only problem is that sometimes it's a little bit slow. And if the Zerg players go crazy, now Stats will absolutely know.
Yeah, for Cham it's time to do some damage where he can find it. The Storms are available though, and they will slow down those Lurkers quite heavily. Especially since he sees it right there.
Gonna try to, you know, fake Stats out a little bit, pretending he's running towards the salvo. He actually just wants to run in between the bases, but now the Tempest are out, and then with your Lurkers.
Oh, and Revelation.
Yeah, that's a beautiful tag. I mean, he gets everything.
Yeah, very nice. Lings are gonna run into this space. A few cannons able to help this out, as well as the reinforcements coming down from the top here. But actually, those Lurkers were situated in the spot where they weren't that reinforced. They didn't get the high Templars that they wanted to on that right-hand side.
A couple of Storms have already landed on these Lurkers. These Lurkers are not full on HP anymore. Now the Archons will get on top of it. I think the Immortal Archon will finally fall, James. But at the same time, so will Cham, as he loses all of his Lurkers, and Stas looks like he's in a very, very dominant position.
Yeah, that's a sorry sight. And when you're reinforcing with just the Hydralisks alone, while carriers are now in production and the Tempests have survived, this Protoss army is going to get very powerful now.
Ascension to Ire is just a big map, right? And Roach Hydra, it's hard to make it work. You truly need an exceptional early game, or you need to catch a break. You need to get the Prism with 2 Archons inside of it. Then you can make certain timings work. But, you know, the very first time that Cham truly attacked, we had 4 or 5 High Templars with Storm. And you've got Immortals and Archons. And, you know, people thought that Protoss was strong with the Mothership 4 defensively. Well, guys, try a shield battery or 2 with those high HP units. Incredibly hard to break Protoss.
Cham not having much success through the middle here with just Hydralisks alone. Even just any pot shots from those Tempests is really hurting Cham's chances here.
I mean, this army actually of Stats without Storm isn't super good against Mass Hydra.
Yeah.
But obviously he should never really commit, and he has a couple of High Templars on the high ground. Now he's got the Mothership as well. Cham is going to try to chase, thinking that he could maybe make something happen here, but he doesn't have an Overseer. But trust me, that's a good thing, Cham, because you would have ran into 4 Storms, and that would have been the end of your Hydra army.
Yeah, that would have been very difficult indeed. Morphing in 3 Overseers now, but he's trying to go for the other ship, and the Storm lands on that high ground, and that is painful. Does not want to be sitting around in that for too long.
Nah, the army of Stats is just so much better. And bigger as well. 128 army supply against only 78. Stats is everything. He has better upgrades, he has more army, he has higher tech units, even working on +2 air weapons. And I don't think that Cham truly knows what he's supposed to hope for. He's making Hydras, he's quite broke. I mean, Hydra against Carrier Storm, good luck, have fun.
Did the Hive ever come in? So it's
yeah,
just kinda,
unless he cancelled it. No.
No, it didn't even come in, so yeah, stuck on this mid-game tech isn't going to be the best situation.
I thought I saw it morph before.
I thought I did as well, actually, to be honest with you. That's why I wanted to check.
Am I seeing ghosts?
I mean, we've seen Tunneling Claws ghosts for 2 games in a row now, so who knows?
It almost felt like a visual bug, right?
Right.
You know,
are you sure? No.
Back in my day, when I used to watch Warcraft 3 games, right?
Yeah.
We had this client called Walk TV because we didn't really have a Twitch or, you know, some games were streamed, but obviously not all of them because streaming was expensive and ESL would only show 1 game because they, you know, have 1 studio, so 1 game.
Yep.
And there was this client called Walk TV, and it worked really well. It's basically like you're pretending like you joined the lobby via a LAN server, and you're in the game, and you can have your own mouse roaming around. Okay. But sometimes the game would bug out randomly, but it wouldn't be super obvious. It would just be a hero just being like AFK for 15 seconds, and you're like, oh, come on, what is he doing? And then he's losing his hero, and you see things dying, but it actually doesn't happen in the real game. Just because. What? Yeah, it was a very weird bug. I mean, people that have played Warcraft in the past and used the client will remember it. It's so confusing, and sometimes you were watching a real clown fiesta of a game, and you're like, is Walk TV bugging out, or are they really playing silly, you know?
That's crazy. Speaking of unfortunately silly for Cham up towards the top, that's a lot of carries coming from all angles against those Hydralisks. So yeah, Hydralisks can do some good DPS, but not enough against that.
Now the Hive is almost done.
Oh, nice.
So this time I think it's for real. Yeah, Cham needs Vipers, but I honestly don't know. I mean, there's Blink on the way, there's Carriers with very good upgrades. At least Cham is getting close to maxed out. I honestly felt that Stats could have straight up killed him with the 4 Storms and the Tempest and the Immortals. There was really nothing that Cham truly had, but maybe Stats felt that there was more Zerg to worry about. Maybe he was worried he would run into a bunch of Lurkers. So he decided to play it safe. And safe is not always bad. I mean, he is working his way towards the invincible army. but he's also going up against a stronger army than he would have gone up before. I mean, the 70 supply of Hydras would have done absolutely nothing. But Hydras with Vipers, I mean, obviously I still think Stats is dominating this game, but there is more hope than before for Cham.
I mean, once these 3 carriers finish up now, he's getting his +3 weapons on the way as well. I mean, +2 weapons on carriers alone is a phenomenal position to be in anyway, because they do so much DPS. So, with these 3 extra, I don't see too much reason why he wouldn't just go and kill.
I mean, yeah, you look at the army size as well. Like, there was almost no... Cham was totally down and out, and now we sort of have a game. But of course, the army of Stats is still better, because, you know, carriers with +3 and Storm are amazing.
Yeah.
But obviously, there's more hope for Cham than there was before.
I mean, it's not even just +3. It's the amount of sheer upgrades he has compared to Cham's situation. He has not very many upgrades at all, does Cham, compared to how powerful these are. There's shield upgrades. There's going to be +2 armor very soon as well.
Yeah, I mean, well, Cham just needs phenomenal spellcaster control to even have a chance. We all know how strong and powerful that Protoss army is. Some people say that it's also very easy to control. Can't confirm or deny that, but have had some experience with Carrier Storm, and must say it's pleasant, James.
Nice.
And I mean, for a Zerg, you need to do everything right if you want to go up against this army. You need Infestors, you need Queens, you need Spore Crawlers, you need Vipers as well. Parasitic Bomb is a lot of people think that that's the answer. I'm honestly not a fan of Parasitic Bomb against these super high HP units. Like against Void Rays, it's fantastic, don't get me wrong, but against Carriers and Tempest, I honestly don't truly believe in Parasitic Bomb. I do believe in Abduct and I do believe in Neuroparasite, but I am very well aware of the fact that it's very hard to get the job done.
It looks like we have Stats moving into assault mode now against this. Revelation goes down on some of those units and he sees not really that much resistance, but he wants to be careful. There's still a bit there.
I feel the longer Stats wait, the more spellcasters he will go up against. I mean, yes, there are a couple Vipers there, but going, you know, the ultimate answer against Carriers is Infested Terrans, by the way. Infested Terrans are so good against Interceptors. The Interceptors just disappear, and they spawn so many of them as well. It feels like it never stops. You know, it's like a virus, a plague that spreads out of the Zerg army. So, you know, the longest Stats wait, of course, Storm can shut that down again. But if you spread your Infested Terrans out a little bit, then at least maybe you can keep your Hydras alive, and then Hydras could potentially kill Interceptors too. I truly feel Stats is still winning this game, but I feel like he's making this a lot closer than it ever should have been.
Well, it might not be very close in a moment because he is now plowing through the Zerg army, trying to get some Abducts on towards those carriers at the front there. Some of the Interceptors die, but they've got the Storms as well. Hatchery's going to fall.
Okay, well, 40 supply disappeared just like that. The Vipers went all down. Thought it was getting a little bit closer, but in the end, I mean, the Infestors weren't there yet. It would have been just lovely for Cham to actually have like 12 or 14 or even 20 Infestors and just spam wave after wave after wave of Infested Terrans. But Stats said, nah, enough is enough. I think I'm ready.
Is he? Well, he's going to be careful to not lose his observers there to the Spore Crawlers, but he's killed them all off, and I think he did save his observer in the middle of the army as well. Yeah, there's still one available, and it is in the army, so he's fine. He's sitting pretty. He's going to plow through a lot of that defensive structure. And Cham now, he's saved a lot of his army, but is it going to be enough?
That Revelation, though. Cham was going to try to run on top of the army as well with his Lurkers. He does have the Lurker upgrade, but obviously there is not enough anti-air to deal with all these carriers. A couple of Infestors do show up, but a few feedbacks land, and the rest of the Zerg army has melted. Cham is absolutely going to think back about game number 1 and that fleet beacon that he could and should have killed. But in the end, it is Stats advancing to the qualifying round.
Yeah, strong stuff by Stats there. Very, very patient and methodical play coming out from Stats as well there in that second game, as he had a phenomenal army for a long time, but then was able to just steamroll through towards the end.
Yeah, I truly wonder what's the story about that tunneling clause as well. 2 games in a row. It goes 80, 90% in. I honestly had a Warcraft 3 flashback of my good old client bugging out, but this is live StarCraft, guys. It was real. Fun series. I think second game Stats look very dominant. Showed some good micro. Both players had a couple of good moves, you know, with blocking, positioning. It was fun to watch, but Stats definitely felt a lot in control. Game number 1, though, I mean, that's the fleet beacon that Cham is going to have nightmares about.
Oh, well, let's check in with the bracket to see how things have evolved so far in there, and it's Stats versus Ilaser taking out Lacera 2-0, and Gumiho up at the top, 2-0 against TY. Gumiho was always phenomenal in TVT.
Some interesting results coming in. Dare took out Scarlet in that round of 60 match, 2-1, and Maru dropped a map against ISONU. So Maru did win, but ISONU taking a map, that's something to be quite proud of. Damn, we're going to do both qualifying matches, right?
Yes.
Oh, I'm so excited because they all look so good. It's going to be either Gumiho versus Maru or Gumiho versus Dare, and then we have Stats versus Ilaser as well. Let's take a look at the lower bracket, because we've got a double elim bracket today. Oh, we missed Haas against Zest. How sad.
Damn.
I was looking forward to a crying James next to me. I've never had a crying James next to me.
No, haven't you? No, it's mostly Todd that gets that, I suppose. So yeah, some other games to come as well. Who else has been completely eliminated? Major did forfeit all of his matches as entirely. ISONU completely gone now with Scarlet advancing against Cham. That was a nice match.
Yeah, that's a fun CvZ. They've run into each other a couple of times lately. Lucira versus Sue in the second round of the lower bracket. Good victory, of course, by Ilaser in that CvZ, but you know, I don't hype up an Ilaser victory over Lucira. It's like, oh my god, he did it. Like, I think, you know, in a weird way, I find that kind of normal. Like, Lucira is very good, but Ilaser is super good. He's one of absolute Europe's best. 2 years in a row, this kid made it to the playoffs of the WCS Global Finals. You know, that's not luck. This guy is super consistent.
Right.
Ilaser can absolutely duke it out with those guys.
And traditionally, Europe ZVZ especially has been something that they've excelled at against anybody in the world. So that's how it breaks down. We're going to go to a short break, ladies and gentlemen, here for the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice qualifiers. And when we return, more StarCraft action.